We'll now go to Nicole Neily.
I think we're all very familiar with the horror stories about what's taking place in America's schools these days. You can't go more than a few minutes watching TV without hearing some latest outrage. Parents around the country are absolutely furious about the state of our country's education system, and with good reason. They are mad that children are being taught to view themselves and others first and foremost through the lens of immutable characteristics of race and gender, and to treat each other accordingly, and that they are being treated accordingly. Reading books that say that whiteness is a deal with the devil, or being taught about the gender unicorn and ask their pronouns in elementary school. They're mad about the elimination of gifted and talented programs in the name of equity. In the state of Oregon, they have something called graduation equity, where you can actually receive a high school diploma now without being able to read, write, or do math. I mean, you have just devalued a whole state's high school diploma in a heartbeat in the name of equity. They're mad that districts are spending finite budget dollars and bringing in diversity consultants that sow division and hatred, rather than focusing on learning loss and low proficiency rates as is. They're mad that schools are facilitating gender transitions and hiding it from families. I just talked to a family in upstate New York a few days ago about this, maintaining two separate sets of records, totally destroying that relationship between a parent and a child. And they're mad that when they try and raise these issues with their school, they are mocked by the media and they are mocked by elected officials, all the way from the White House to the schoolhouse. These concerns are dismissed and they feel unheard. It's no wonder parents are upset. But I'm not here to tell sob stories. I actually am coming here with a little bit of good news. The cavalry is coming. We saw this last night and we are seeing this around the country. Parents Defending Education speaks to parents every single day around the country. We work with, at this point, about 200 parent groups across the country that have sprung up just in the past 2 years to address what is going on in America's schools, the quality of education. Not just school choice, not masks or COVID, just this political indoctrination in schools. People are mad and they are awoke. And I think what's exciting is this is a really unusual group of people that have come out. This is not just a bunch of conservatives. These are people, probably 10 or 15% of the people we hear from are people who say, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I don't like this. We hear from teachers. We hear from school administrators. We hear from first-generation Americans who are generally apolitical, but they don't want their child to be taught that getting the right answer in math class is racist. They want their child to learn calculus so they can apply to MIT and make a better life for themselves. And so, we have this amazing opportunity to bring a new generation of people and new Americans to the cause of freedom. And so, although it seems dark, I am very optimistic that together we can make a change and we can reclaim our children's education, because this issue is not going away. Thank you.
Nicole, do you have any other comments in terms of what you're hearing from parents?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned agency, and thank you so much for introducing a Parent Bill of Rights. One thing that we have heard that has come up, initially it came up in Fairfax County, but we're hearing it from around the country, is the use of intrusive surveys, very deeply personal surveys. We got the tip about Panorama Education and the Attorney General's son-in-law being involved in that. People don't know what their children are being asked or how that information will be used and weaponized against them and their families in the future. People don't know, they feel deeply disenfranchised by this, and the ability to opt out is often hidden from them. I reached out to Arlington County about my children and said, I don't want my children surveyed by Panorama. And it took them days to respond to me because they don't want you to opt out. I shouldn't have to beg the government to not survey my children for deeply personal information. And so to flip the script and to put that power back in the hands of parents, I think is going to be a game changer. So thank you for standing up.
Hi, I'm Alex Nestor. I write on education for the Washington Free Beacon. You all mentioned the race in Virginia last night. Parents clearly are taking a stand against all of these types of things that are happening in schools. Do you think Democrats are going to change the message on what they're pushing in this bill at the Education Department and now at the Justice Department? Are they going to keep trying to push this down parents' throats, or are they going to get the message from last night's election? Thank you.
As we saw in the House and the Senate Judiciary Oversight hearings, I do not think they will be walking this back. We are seeing them double down. We have not seen the Department of Justice walk it back. I'm so grateful for the House Republicans that have started to call for, why are you not doing this? What are the Attorney General's offices around the country doing? But I don't see that strategy changing at all, and I think it's to their detriment.
Hi, I'm Kendall Teets. I work for the Daily Caller News Foundation, and I just wanted to hear a little bit more about what you were saying about how Democrats are really going to be doubling down because they're so entrenched in this ideology. What do you see happening with critical race theory, just because that is really kind of the most salient issue. What do you say to those people who say, critical race theory is not in schools? Like, what do you see in your districts or, where your children attend schools? Like, what happens next when people just continue to deny that that's not in schools?
Strictly speaking, critical race theory is not being taught in schools because we're not making children read Richard Delgado and Kimberly Crenshaw. That's an Eighth Amendment violation. We don't want to do that. But what we do see is we see the implementation of this pedagogy. We see people being defined and treated by immutable characteristics, by race, by gender. And that is unacceptable. And I don't care what you call it. You can call it magical unicorn theory. It's unconstitutional and it's immoral. And so, yes, I think you guys are right. We're going to keep changing the terms. Right now, CRT is now a toxic term, and so now it's culturally responsive, or there's social emotional learning. Right, the terms keep shifting. But again, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. People are paying attention now. I mean, people are obsessively watching what their kids are learning, asking, filing public records requests to get access to curriculum. And when the schools say no, you can't see it, alarm bells go off. We have all these, my coworker calls them Nancy Drews. I mean, people are paying attention now and they're not going away.